Following the latest on today's big breaking news, the discovery of a body in Southwest Bexar County now being linked to the deaths of 6 others. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mandy Noel.
I'm Jonathan Martinez. A body was found this afternoon near McDonald. New developments in this case have started coming to light within just the last couple of hours. The sheriff confirming this afternoon the body is connected to 6 bodies that were found in Laredo on Sunday.
We have team coverage of today's developments. Jordan Elder will join us from Laredo with what authorities are saying about the 6 bodies found there. But we start with News 4 San Antonio's Ethan Trejo live in Southwest Bexar County with more on what the sheriff had to say.
Well, Jonathan, Mandy, this is the 7th body found in what's believed to be a human smuggling operation after 6 bodies were found in a train car like this one in Laredo. Now, the man's body was found just on the other side of these tracks that you see right here behind me. Sheriffs said that they found the body around 1 p.m. today. Sheriff's office also said that San Antonio police received a call from an out-of-state relative of one of the members who was on a train car making its way from Del Rio. They complained of hot temperatures within the car while they were in the San Antonio area. Police were dispatched to an area several miles up the tracks and found nothing reportable, but BCSO received a call from Union Pacific today of this body being found along the tracks. Late this afternoon, the sheriff confirmed the man found here and the deaths in Laredo were believed to be connected.
Of course, that load was found in Laredo. Now, it is believed at this point that the person that shot that message to the relative out of town was among the 6 deceased that were found in Laredo.
Now, no information has been released yet on the man's identity. Sheriff Javier Salazar did tell us earlier that the man found here was found with a voter registration card in his possession, and it was from Mexico. The cause and manner of death have not yet been released, but we'll be sure to update you with any information as soon as we receive it. Reporting live, Ethan Trejo, News 4, San Antonio.
Ethan, thank you for that. The other part of this story taking place about 2.5 hours south of today's scene in Bexar County. That's where the 6 bodies were found Sunday inside of a train car out in Laredo. News 4 San Antonio's Jordan Elder continues our live team coverage. She's live in Laredo tonight. Jordan, how are investigators classifying this discovery?
Jonathan, Homeland Security is now confirming that this is being investigated as potential human smuggling. Here in Laredo, police also use that word potential. They tell us a lot of questions have to be answered before they can officially put that label on it. A routine inspection with an unexpected discovery on Sunday. 5 men and 1 woman dead in a boxcar.
Any day it would have been a tragic event. But the fact that this happened on Mother's Day is even all that much more sadder for us.
Laredo police stopping short of calling it human smuggling at this point, but not ruling it out.
Leaving it all open because that's what we do in an investigation. We don't guess. We basically make sure that we follow the evidence and we follow that path.
Human trafficking expert Kimberly Melman Orozco says that path begins with identifying the victims, figuring out where they came from, where they were going, and if this was part of a larger operation.
Because oftentimes this isn't just a one-off. It's not an isolated incident. And so if these people were found in the back of this boxcar, how many other boxcars are there? How many other lives are in danger?
Another big question, if it is human smuggling, who got paid?
We really are following the money and seeing how much money was paid to whom, under what circumstances. I think that will absolutely be key.
And this is not the first smuggling bust in the area. In recent months and years, Laredo police have found migrants trying to enter the U.S. through sewer systems, trapped in the back of trucks, and now in a train car.
It's just becoming a common thing here in Laredo, especially being a border city. People are traveling up north, and unfortunately they're using Laredo as one of their entry points.
The Webb County Medical Examiner's Office is still in the early stages of this investigation, but they did come out tonight and say it is likely heat that led to the deaths of the people in the back of that boxcar. No identities yet, but they believe the people were from Mexico and Honduras. Reporting live in Laredo, I'm Jordan Elder, News 4 San Antonio.
We'll be sure to follow this story for you and bring you the latest on air and online at news4sa.com. Be sure to also follow all of our social media platforms for updates.
And we are learning more about the 6 people found dead inside of a boxcar in Laredo. The Webb County Medical Examiner says among the bodies, a 14-year-old boy from Honduras, a 24-year-old man from Honduras, a 29-year-old woman from Mexico, and a 45-year-old man and a 56-year-old man, both from Mexico. Investigators say they most likely all died from overheating.
We're talking about this is my estimate, 120, 150 degrees inside these things, cannot be opened from the inside. They're basically airtight, watertight.
Several agencies investigating this as a possible human smuggling operation that stretches from San Antonio to the U.S.-Mexico border. Authorities also found a body here in Bexar County that might be connected to the 6 others found in a train in Laredo.
He may have been either thrown from the train after being found deceased or fell from the train and deceased as a result.
Investigators are now working to figure it out who is responsible for all of this. Webb County Medical Examiner's Office also working with the Mexican consulate to find more information on the families of those victims. We, of course, will stay on top of this story, and you can follow us on our social media platforms. You can also download the News 4 SA mobile app to get updates sent straight to your phone.
Okay. About 1:30 this afternoon, we received a call from Union Pacific Railroad police that were out here on scene, along with federal agents, I believe from HSI, for a report of a dead body. My understanding is that they were following up on a case that my understanding is that yesterday, as you all know, there was a load of about 6 people found deceased in Laredo, Texas. They believe that this gentleman here was a part of that same load. What leads them to believe that is that on these trains there is a sensor on some of the containers that alerts whenever a container is opened. My understanding is that they received an alert from here at some point over the weekend, and that once those bodies were found in Laredo, they came back to this location here and started patrolling up and down the railroad tracks until such time as they found him. As I understand it now, on Saturday, I believe, there was a phone call made to the SAPD from someone in another state that had received a text message or a message of some sort from a relative that was believed to be within the load, that they were in a boxcar, and that it was getting very, very hot, and that they were having some physical trouble as a result of it. SAPD was dispatched, but as it turns out, they were dispatched to a location in the city several miles up the road. Obviously over there, nothing was found several miles away. But then, of course, that load was found in Laredo. Now, it is believed at this point that the person that shot that message to the relative out of town was among the 6 deceased that were found in Laredo. The decedent here is a gentleman. We don't have an age on him at this point. There is a state of decomposition on the body. What I can tell you is that while we cannot release his name, at this point, what we do know is that he was in possession of a voter registration card of some sort from Mexico. So at this point, the prevailing theory is that he's a resident of Mexico that was among that group that was being smuggled into the country in one of these shipping containers. And for whatever reason, at some point, when the sensor went off here, he may have been either thrown from the train after being found deceased or fell from the train and deceased as a result. We're going to be waiting on the medical examiner to make the final determination as to cause and manner of death, and of course be able to give us the identity of this man if it can be determined. Esta tarde, oficiales con la Union Pacific Railroad estaban acompañados por agentes federales con HSI. Ellos estaban trabajando en el caso donde 6 cuerpos fueron encontrados en Laredo, Texas, fallecidos a causa del calor dentro del tren. Se aparenta que hay un sensor dentro del tren que les alerta cuando abren la puerta. Se aparenta que ese sensor sí dio información que la puerta había sido abierta aquí en San Antonio. La agencia del ferrocarril y las agentes federales empezaron a revisar aquí cerca de los carriles donde ellos encontraron el cuerpo de este hombre. No se sabe quién es ahorita, ni se sabe cómo falleció, pero ahorita la información que nosotros tenemos es que él, más que seguro que era parte de esa carga de personas que fueron encontradas en Laredo. La información que me están diciendo a mí ahorita es que piensan que una de las mujeres dentro del carro, que ella fue encontrada en Laredo, mientras que ella estaba aquí en San Antonio, ella le mandó un mensaje a un familiar en otro estado que ellos estaban dentro del tren y que estaba muy caliente dentro del carro. ellos hablaron, la persona de afuera del estado de Texas le hablaron a la policía, el departamento de policía de San Antonio checaron una estación con unas cuantas millas de aquí. Obviamente no encontraron a este hombre en ese rato desde allá, sino que este día el oficial del railroad empezó a revisar el área aquí. Ellos se encontraron con el cuerpo de este hombre. Ahorita no se sabe quién es, pero sí se piensa que es un residente de México. Él tenía una tarjeta de identificación de votante de México, pero por ahorita no puedo dar el nombre. Ahorita estamos esperando al médico forénsico que si puede identificar el cuerpo y también averiguar cómo fue cómo falleció el hombre. Any questions?
¿Dónde fue exactamente el lugar donde encontraron ese cadáver?
Nomás unos cuantas yardas de aquí, atrás de estos árboles.
And what was the location that SAPD was checking at?
It's some kind of a station that's several miles away that they were checking. My understanding is they may have had a partial description on the train that the young lady reported to her family member that she had been in, but I think it was already gone by the time they got the call and SAPD arrived. So obviously they were not able to find anything. And of course, like as I mentioned, the estimate that was given to me is that it's probably 3 or 4 miles up the road in the city.
Okay.
And in English, the place of the body was
Yes, he was found kind of on that side of the trees, just a couple dozen yards up this way. So between that tree line and the railroad tracks, he's laying on this side of the tracks.
And timeline in terms of when the other bodies were found and when this body was found, can you?
My understanding is the bodies found in Laredo were found yesterday afternoon at some point. I don't have any much more exact information than that. This body was found at about 1:30 this afternoon.
But the phone call that said he was here, I'm so sorry, I'm having trouble understanding. But if all of those dead people were found over there yesterday, the train was going that way? The train was going that way. People who are crossing the border are coming this way.
Right. So the train
he's over here and they're over there.
My understanding is that what they believe about this train here, and I'm going off of what the agents on scene told me, they believe this train originated in Del Rio. There is a sensor hit in Del Rio where they believe the door was open to load the people into it, and a sensor alerted. The train left. At some point there was another sensor hit here, indicating that the door was open for whatever reason. The phone call was made, the message was gotten out on Saturday. SAPD responded up the road. They were not able to find anything. At some point, the train must have continued on. The bodies were found in Laredo. So my understanding is this train that contained these people here was split up at this station up the road here. Half of that train went to Houston and half went to Laredo. Obviously, these bodies went with the Laredo half. This gentleman here was found here today. The prevailing theory at this point is that other sensor hit that was here in San Antonio was when that door was opened. And at this point, we don't know if it was open to let people out that made it out successfully, or if they just opened it to dump a body. At this point, we just don't know. So it's quite possible that load of people may have been much bigger, may have been somewhat bigger than the 7 bodies that we're up to now, or it's possible that that may have been it.
But we believe people were southbound. Is that what you're saying? On a train that was southbound?
I don't know. I've lost my sense of direction here. The train was going this way.
It was going to Laredo, though. Or it was coming from Laredo when they put the body out.
No, it was coming from Del Rio.
Del Rio.
And so when it got to the station up here, half of it went to Houston, half of it went to Laredo.
Sheriff, un mensaje a la comunidad inmigrante que lo ve. ¿Cuál es su consejo a estas personas que vienen y quieren pasar por esta situación? ¿Cuál sería su
Mira, sabemos que esta situación, las situaciones en otros países es algo bien desesperado. Sabemos que hay peligro en esos otros países, pero también les digo que este viaje hasta acá, trabajando con los carteles que andan moviendo personas, que los andan tratando como animales, poniéndolos a riesgo de vida en estos trenes, también no hay razón para ponerse a riesgo así. Sabemos que la mayoría de estas personas solamente están buscando una nueva vida, mejor vida para sus familiares en México, en Guatemala, donde sea, pero también no es necesario ponerse a riesgo por esto. La temperatura en estos carros, más que seguro que es una temperatura de 120, 140, 150 150, 114, 40. Entonces eso es muy peligroso para las personas que se están poniendo a riesgo y es importante que sepan eso. Mi consejo para esas personas será quedarse en sus países en vez de ponerse a riesgo de lo que está pasando, porque estos carteles que están mandando a esas personas para acá, ellos no les importa la vida de estas personas, solamente son una manera de hacer dinero. Entonces les pido que por favor consideran quedarse donde están ahorita.
Sheriff, ahorita dijo algo importante en inglés, ¿será que lo puede repetir en español de si hubo sobrevivientes y el lugar donde los encontraron?
Sí, no, pues ahorita no tenemos información en sobrevivientes. Las únicas personas que nosotros sabemos son los 6 que fueron encontrados en Laredo y este hombre, todos fallecidos. Es posible que hay otras personas que sobrevivieron. Solamente lo que se sabe es que alguien abrió la puerta de aquí. Es importante decir que esas cajas no se pueden abrir de adentro. Entonces ese sensor que indicó que alguien había abierto la puerta es que alguien la abrió de afuera de aquí. Nosotros pensamos que eran coyotes que abrieron esa puerta, pero ahorita no se sabe. What I just mentioned to him, I hadn't mentioned this in English, so let me forgive me for leaving that out. The sensor hit that came here in San Antonio, those boxes, as hot and uncomfortable as they are, and we're talking about, this is my estimate, 120, 150 degrees inside these things, cannot be opened from the inside. They're basically airtight, watertight. They cannot be opened from the inside. So the fact that a sensor hit from here indicates someone opened that from outside. Our belief at this point is that it was most likely smugglers, coyotes that opened it from the outside, at some point discovered this body, and then for whatever reason dumped him out to avoid accountability. Or it's possible that when they opened the door, he was leaning up against it and fell out.
Oiga, perdón, ¿sabe usted qué ruta traía el tren?
El tren nosotros pensamos que empezó en Del Río, Texas, llegó hasta aquí a San Antonio, lo compartieron en dos. La mitad del tren fue hacia Houston y la otra mitad fue hacia Laredo. La parte de Laredo fue donde encontraron los 6 fallecidos.
So what are the next steps for this investigation, and what agencies are you guys going to be working with moving forward?
Well, we're going to continue to try to identify who this gentleman is. The medical examiner's office just took the body a few minutes ago. They'll be trying to identify him and come up with cause and manner of death. From that point on, we'll continue to work with our partners at HSI and, of course, Union Pacific with any information they might be able to shed. Right now, the units from within my agency that are here are our homicide unit and our human exploitation unit, which is also a human smuggling unit. They're out here investigating. But everybody's got great relationships with our federal partners, so I have no doubt that we'll continue to work all leads both with HSI and with Border Patrol as well.
So in terms of the neighbors or the time frame when maybe somebody could have seen something suspicious, you would have help from people at what time, or
so
what are we looking for?
The best we can gather now, looking back on it, is probably Saturday evening around the time SAPD got that call, Saturday afternoon, evening when they got that call, to yesterday. If this gentleman truly was a part of that group that was found in Laredo yesterday, anything today probably would not be of value, to be honest with you. But if anybody has any information, it may have seen anything suspicious, may have seen people, trucks backed up next to the train, unloading people, whatever it may be, give us a call, 210-335-6000. You can also email us at bcsotips@bear.org, and you can remain anonymous if you want to. Yes.
¿Podría tratarse de tráfico de personas emigrantes u otra situación?
Oh, no, sí, para mí sí es, en mi opinión, esto sí es traficando de seres humanos, pues más bien contrabando de seres humanos.
Sheriff, ¿se podría decir entonces que este es el primer fallecido que encontraron?
¿Dónde?
¿Se podría decir que entonces ese fue el primer fallecido que encontraron?
No, los otros 6 se los encontraron primero y luego
para entender, encontraron primero 6 en Laredo.
Sí, pero esos vinieron de aquí. Entonces, ese tren se paró aquí por unos momentos, horas, no se sabe. No, yo no sé. Lo compartieron, mandaron la mitad del tren para Houston y a la otra mitad para Laredo. Ya llegando a Laredo se encontraron los cuerpos allá en Laredo. Entonces, esos cuerpos fueron encontrados ayer, el domingo. Este hombre fue encontrado este día, pero se piensa que era parte del mismo grupo.
Where is the splitting yard where this takes place?
They're telling me it's 3-4 miles up the road here, but that's an estimate given to me by one of the officers on scene. Okay, any other questions?
You say his body's on the other side?
It's gone now, but he was on the other side, just a ways down. Is it, how close to that black car, Josh?
I'd say probably
Pretty even with it? Even with that black car?
Yeah, pretty close.
So pretty much even with that black
On the
car,
other side.
but it would have been found between this tree line and the metal tracks itself.
On
He was
the
laying
other-
on the
on the
ground.
other side.
No, on this side.
Oh, on this side.
Yes,
Oh,
sir. Any other questions? Okay, thank you all so much.